Hello, dear friends. The roar of the lion, the howl of the wolf, the rage of the stormy sea, and the destroying sweat are portions of eternity too great for the eye of human being, said William Blake. Opinion piece. Roar and howl. The lion is unleashed. I can't take it anymore. The people can take no more. Declaration of principles. Unspeakable confessions. The world is detoxifying. Implosion of the financial system. Which leader will be the first to fall? Capital flight from oil to gold. End of corruption, not the times. You may not believe in God, but God believes in you. Let's start. I have spent the best years of my life consumed by work and fear, full of worries, responsibilities and duties, doing what I was ordered to do when I didn't agree, getting up in a bad mood in the morning to go to work, nervous in heavy traffic jams, getting caffeine intoxication to be able to perform at work, arriving home sick, upset and anxious from breathing in the smoke of smokers, and from putting up with the dictatorship of my boss or the rudeness of my rude co-workers. I am tired of swallowing cats. I think I have set a record in swallowing to adapt to the system. Watching stupid movies on TV to forget everything. Drinking a liter of beer at night in search of paradise, which ruined my liver. Crying on my pillow at night when I realized what a miserable life I was leading. All for minimal career successes and a meager salary that forced me to make ends meet. What was the point of all this sacrifice? Who stole my natural ecstasy? Myself. I can't take it anymore. I have reached the point in my life where I can't take anymore. I don't want to hurt anyone or take revenge on anyone. I just want to forget everything and live happily without bosses, obligations or responsibilities. I want to live drunk with joy and divine love like the hippies and the mystics, whatever happens in the world. The hippies saw everything, the wild eyes, the holy cries. They sat so long. They jumped off the roof, into the solitude, saying goodbye, wearing flowers in their hair. Down to the river, down the street, said Ginsberg. Pluto has hit me. The world is changing and so am I. I can't fix the world because that's God's job. I just want love, life and laughter like a child. I want to laugh and cry for joy every day. I want to dance and meditate every day. I want to wear colorful clothes. I want to see beautiful sunsets, gaze at the stars at night, lying on the grass. Watch the clouds during the day, listen to the birds singing, smell the fragrance of flowers, chat with good people, and above all, not worry about anything no matter what happens in the world. I want to see the face of God. Am I asking too much? Now comes a reset that asks us all for responsibilities and jobs in exchange for getting rich. Please, do not burden us with more responsibilities, because we have the right to live free and happy like birds, without harming anyone. Heaven on earth cannot be a concentration camp, but a heaven paradise, like the immortal elders of Taoism, free and independent. New leaders and authorities would come, new systems and subjugations, more gentle and benevolent. But we, independent and rebellious freethinkers, will remain just as unpopular as we are now. Howl. As Allen Ginsberg wrote in his poem Howl, in quotes, "I have seen the best mind of my generation destroyed by madness, starving, hysterical, naked. What things of concrete and aluminium open their skulls and devour their brains and imagination? Solitude, filth, ashtrays and unreachable dollars, children screaming under the stairs, boys sobbing in armies, old men crying in parks, nightmare on Moloch, heavy yash of men, incomprehensible prison, heartless prison of warm crusades and congress of sorrows, whose buildings are judgment, Moloch, the vast stone of war, Moloch, whose mind is pure machinery, whose blood is a torrent of money, whose fingers are 10 armies, whose breast is a cannibal dynamo, whose ear is a smoking tomb, whose eyes are 1,000 blind windows, whose skyscrapers stand in the long streets like endless Jehovah's, whose factories dream and croak in the fog, whose chimneys and antennae crown the cities, whose love is oil and endless stone, whose soul is electricity and banks, whose poverty is the spectre of genius, whose destiny is a cloud of asexual hydrogen, whose name is mind, robot flats, invisible suburbs, skeletal treasuries, blind capitals, demonic industries, spectral nations, invisible madhouses, granite spires, monstrous bombs. They broke their backs by lifting Moloch to the sky." Close quotes. Reset News. People can't take it anymore and protests continue in France despite being banned according to the X22 report. The lion has been unleashed and the system is being dismantled. They are maneuvering to cut off communication, start chaos and take us to war. General Flynn says we are winning. Juan Osabin believes that Gisela will be announced very soon. This is the news we have waited over 100 years for. QFS will transform the core banking system. Only you will have access to your QFS account. You will not be able to have a QFS account if you are involved in illicit trading. The core banking digital currency has been disconnected from the QFS. The internet will burn up, while the QFS will run much faster. The big banks have been bought out and will resume business under the QFS. With the QFS, prices will not go down but up, but everyone will have enough money to meet their needs. The stock market will fall and the EBS will be activated to tell people what is happening. We will be asked to return home, where we will have 10 to 12 days of the commentaries. Banking systems are using to the new Unified Payments Interface in the QFS for foreign exchange. The Bank for International Settlements is connecting Asian banks to the global instant payment system known as International Cross-Border Payments. Currencies of more than 200 countries and 11,000 institutions completed the digital integration of bank accounts for the global core banking system to the QFS through the ISO 20022 standard and the new Starlink satellite system. The Sandman project is more than 100 nations abandoning the petrodollar was completed. More than 200 countries and 11,000 institutions disconnected from the old system. Kenya's president tells his people to get rid of dollars because the market will change in a couple of weeks. Ramadan lasts 27 days and Iraqi contacts say that's when the rate change. Economy. Spain must lower its deficit by 19.5 billion euros to comply with Brussels. Deutsche Bank plunge leads to a 60% fall in its share price. The World Bank warns that the economy is on the brink of a lost decade. Elon Musk warns that a new financial crisis is knocking on the door. The biggest financial crisis of our lifetime is here, warns Gerald Silente. The banks for international settlements, I have already told this new. Super rich New Yorkers are fleeing by the Big Apple in droves. Banking stress puts the West on alert for a credit crunch. The crisis threatens to trigger a credit crunch for households. The banking crisis raises concerns about hidden leverage in the system. The banking crisis has triggered a flight of capital from oil to gold. Oil rises 5% as Kurdish exports cease. The UN Security Council does not approve an investigation into the sabotage of Nord Stream. Russia could seek compensation for damage to Nord Stream pipelines. Russia plans to cut US submarine cable to Europe, according to Howl. European Union reaches agreement to ban the sale of combustion vehicles by 2035. Banks raise saving rates to retain customers. Lawmakers grill regulators over Silicon Valley Bank failure. First Citizens Bank buys bankrupt Silicon Valley Bank. First Citizens Bank will nearly double its assets by buying Silicon Valley Bank. First Citizens joins the ranks of failed banks with the patches of Silicon Valley. Saudi Arabia's National Bank chairman resigns for talking about Credit Suisse. Hong Kong returns to business and will benefit from China's growth. Empty containers in Chinese ports as exports continue to fall. Netanyahu announces a halt to judicial reform for fear of civil war. Bolivia maintains that it is not following any IMF economic prescription. Opinions. According to Benjamin Fulford, the collapse of the Western financial system is a mathematical certainty because recent rate hikes created at least an $8 trillion loss for financial institutions. Governments have tried to pass this to the people, and rebellion is the result. This is why unprecedented unrest is taking hold in France, Germany, Pakistan, Israel, and many other places. And there is also a worldwide awakening to the fact that the so-called rules-based world order means the rule of the wicked. The question now is which leader will be the first to fall. No matter how hard you try to avoid reality, it eventually finds a way to catch up with you. The problem is that the rest of the world, especially the Asians, insisted on being paid with money backed by real things. They blew up the Nord Stream pipeline to force Europeans to buy natural gas at 4 times the price they were paying to Russia. Needless to say, European labour standards fell as a result. This is one of the reasons why Europe is on fire. This financial crisis could lead to the collapse of most international institutions as well as many governments. Puffner said, "We know that everything seems capricious and distressing. Also, there are changes and many things happening that will come to light in due course. Make sure you find a way to stay in tune and in the flow. That's all you have to do. Stay in the flow, attentive and listening. No one dares to leave the arena because changes are afoot and the creators of many iniquitous acts will confront the truth tellers. We are in the end times, but not the end times of the planet, but the end times of corruption. You are seeing the cracks in the facade. You are almost there. Reflections. You may not believe in God, but God believes in you. You are real in this world, says Poet Dog. Don't let negative and toxic people rent space in your head. Raise the rent and kick them out. Stress doesn't come from what's going on in your life. It comes from your thoughts about what's going on. The world is not getting darker, it is detoxifying. The darkness you see represents toxins that were crippling the collective psyche of humankind. You are only seeing it because it is being extracted. Your head-centered presence is the antidote. Keep shining. That's all for today. Thanks a lot, dear friends.